Perfect, dude. Song changing over like that for us to just start getting back at it today. After the day off, switching the scene, getting ready for video gaming news this morning. What's up, everybody? What it do? The build up on that song is intense, dude. I like it. I like it. What's going on, guys? Hope everybody had a phenomenal Wednesday. It's good to be back. It's good to see everybody. We're going to do video gaming news this morning, like we always do, man, for today, June 13th. Then we will dive into more Ghost of Tsushima. And I'll die a lot, probably. If we have another boss fight like we had the other day, I sure will. But we'll get through it, man. We always do, okay? So it'll be fine. I don't know. It's good to see everybody. Dude, I'm always glad to be back after the day off. What is this? Video James news, McDonald's news, Burger King news. Are you hungry? You're hungry. You need to eat something with your golden fork. Eating burgers without your hands. Just ate noodles. You know what? Here's what's weird. Soup probably doesn't even eat noodles with any kind of utensil, whether it be chopsticks or you know, a fork and spoon or anything like that. Soup probably eats noodles just with his hands, because he does eat things like burgers and tacos with a fork. Everything's backwards for Soup. Soup lives in backwards world. Yeah, I think that's the way it works. What's up, buddy? What's going on, man? Let's do this. You guys ready? Let's dive in here. Let's dive in here. Video gaming news time. Let's go. Let's go. We're jamming. So, I've got this up from the other day. If the news is a little bit bleak, we'll watch this today, okay, in the news, which is an avowed deep dive, confirms countless details. One of the reasons I didn't watch it in the news the other day was because all the things they talked about here was, it didn't make it seem like they were giving us a whole lot out of this deep dive video. So, I don't know. We'll see. I've got something pulled up already about when we can maybe expect a Nintendo Direct coming in roughly 5 days. Okay. So, we'll see. Wait, what? You love the showcase too much. What are you talking about? This wasn't part of any showcase that I'm aware of. I've already got it up, dude. What are you linking me? It's already in here, dog. No, it's not. This is the same look. This is the same video, dude. It's not going to be a different video. It's not going to be a different video. Nope, it will not. They even have it embedded in here? They don't even... Oh, yeah. It's the same exact video. Same exact video. I told you. I told you, bro. And here we go. Here we go with the soup antics, dude. Right out the gate. Right out the gate, man. We'll take a look at it, though. More than likely. If as long as the news isn't running super long this morning, we'll watch it. We'll see what we get out of it. Also, like I said, I already found this. We'll talk about this. It looks like there's speculation that a Nintendo Direct is coming in roughly like 5 to 6 days. We'll see, though, okay? I'm not the same exact video. My videos are different every day, okay? You're a spreader of misinformation. All right? Spreading that misinformation, bro. What is this? We all know. I mean, to be honest, I like basically covered that 2 days ago. I appreciate it. In all seriousness, though, like, I mean, I covered the entirety of especially what Ubisoft's doing with bringing a lot of their games over to the Apple platforms and everything. So I'm not going to dive into that. And I covered it in a very non-biased way. Okay? As much as you know that I'm not a fan of Apple as a company, I do think that just in the realm of technology and mobile devices and how gaming is evolving, getting those bigger games, those more AAA-esque kind of games put onto those kinds of devices and everything, doesn't matter what it is. That shows evolution in technology across the board in the world. And it's better for gamers all the way around. But there are still differences, right? There's still differences in your experience with trying to play something like Assassin's Creed Mirage or Assassin's Creed Shadows on a PC or even like console, as you know, what your experience is going to be, as opposed to playing them on a mobile device. Usually you're going to have a little bit of a different experience mechanically with the way the game performs, also with the graphical fidelity, right? People just have to understand that. It's still good that those games are coming over to like mobile devices and stuff, though. Oh my god! Look who it is! What's up, brother? What are you doing, dude? How's Valheim? Valheim 2 coming soon. Have they even said if this is the last big content? Played it for like 20 minutes, still worked nothing changed. Bro, I'm so sorry. I know you've been busy, dude. I know. I'm sorry. Have the devs even said for Valheim whether or not this is the last of the big content editions or anything, or are they still planning more? I'm not even sure. If they have said anything about Valheim and if they're kind of done with this, that maybe they are working on like a second one or something. Who knows? But I don't know if they've been vocal about that. We could try to look into it potentially. Sumo Group closing Timber Games. We'll take a look at this. What do you mean? What is this even? And look at how good it looks on what, dude? What is this? The ROG Ally X. Is that what this is? And what brought up The Last of Us, by the way? I don't think this is going to be the final model. This is the most recent model. It looks just like the previous ones. What are you talking about? Bro, it's just black. Brother, come on. Wait. So this is oh, hold on, dude. Hold on. So that's the ROG Ally X, right? And this is the ROG Ally. There's almost no difference. There's almost no difference. Brother. Stop it, dude. Stop. Wait. Hold on, dog. Hold on. Check it out, dude. Check it out. Oh my god, dude. You're such a trip, brother. There's almost no difference. The previous one had a little bit of a more edgy curve, right? And this one's more rounded at the bottom. But there's very little difference, dude. There's very little difference. You're a trip, bro. There's almost no difference. Brother, all the buttons are the same place. It's literally just black, and they changed the curvature of the bottom of each edge. That's it. They didn't change anything else. You're wild, bro. Apple Strat. That's right, dude. That's right. Oh my god, dude. Oh, you're a trip. See, this is why flippin' Soup needs somebody like me, you know? Soup needs somebody like me to keep him in line. Soup be just going wild off some notions, dude. Just craziness. You know? Literally almost the same exact device. He's like, they're totally different. Oh my god, dude. I love it. I love it. See, Soup, this is why you need me, man. When the printer stopped working again, have just half the work and can actually do not only work. That sounds fun. Soup's tripping, dog. So funny, dude. God dang. Yo, I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something that was really kind of refreshing to see. Let me tell you what. You guys know how I am. You know the way I approach this industry, and you know the companies that I call out all the time. You know what was awesome was I was flipping through some YouTube shorts last night, and I came through a video about the new what's the body cam game, right? I came across a video of body cam, and dude, I mean the reviews are going up for it. I think they've fixed some of the lobby stuff and everything, but it does look very good, right? This is what's funny. some of the first comments or the most, you know, thumbs up comments on the video were, how is it that we have indie developers, right? Indie developers that are bringing us games that look like this and play like this, and we're still getting Call of Duty and AAA games that look the same as they have for years, you know? And a lot of the replies were a lot of the same stuff I talk about all the time. And it was like, it's because they don't care about the fans. They don't care about the consumers. A lot of these people, it's nice sometimes just to hear people have the same kinds of understanding that and addressing of the industry that I do, right? What up, Florida? How you doing? And they were like, there were just a lot of people that were talking about how it's more about not changing the games, basically just slapping a new title on it, same exact mechanics, pushing out a new game each and every year because it's all about quantity over quality and stuff like that. And I do think that this is one of those kinds of examples, you know, where people are understanding and seeing the industry of like what indie companies are doing and have been doing for such a long time on the front of. And look, I'm not saying that there aren't some great AAA companies out there. Larian, killer, you know, just nailing it constantly, you know. Always, anytime I think great AAA companies right now, I mean, Larian is one of the first ones that comes to mind. But there are a lot of terrible ones too, you know, that just really don't give a crap anymore. On the indie side of the industry, we constantly get phenomenal games pushing, you know, the boundaries of innovation, artistic expression and design, and just giving us these unique experiences that I really do think drive the industry on those fronts more than anything else. And it's nice to see other people have that same understanding and perception of what's happening here in the industry. I mean, there were all kinds of people replying that were like, this is why I don't play those AAA like Call of Duty games anymore, because they've just become trash. They don't care about us as the people that bought their games and got them to the point they're at and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I mean, look at what these indie companies are doing. This looks amazing. It looks amazing. Unless the indie game has cozy in its description. There are a lot. I mean, that's the industry as a whole, though. You know, that's a funny comment, but then it's just a reskin. I mean, bro. Most of the time. There are some unique, I mean, you know, this is what sucks. This is what sucks about that notion. What sucks about that notion is that, you know, when are we going to get that next brilliant Stardew experience? You know, something like that, right? And people are originally, in the first place, potentially going to just overlook it because they're going to go, oh, it's another cozy game, you know? It'll happen. It'll happen. The thing that sucks is that it's so polluted, right? It's so polluted in certain genres, right? Of just the industry as a whole, all the way across the spectrum of developer size. In certain genres, it's just so polluted that it's really hard to narrow down where you might be getting that diamond at, right? It's tough, but you're not wrong. Most of the time, that is exactly what you're getting. One second. But, sorry. Sorry for the pause there. I will say that, you know, if you remember when this game first came out, they were having a lot of matchmaking issues and stuff, and I think it was because they just had a very archaic lobby system with people having to match up and everything. Florida, how are you, by the way? Good morning, my friend. How's the trip going so far? And so, I think they've gotten some of that fixed up. It seems, anyways. But I've seen some videos now of this gameplay, and I mean, it's pretty wild. It's so realistic, dude. It's so realistic. And you're talking about, like, people will, you know, or characters in the game will get shot, but they won't be dead, and they'll literally be on the ground, like, squirming and kicking and stuff, like they've, you know, they're hurt. And you just, you know, people be going up there and, like, executing them and stuff. It's wild, dude. It's wild. Head home tonight. Let's go. This year's starting to be epic, though. On what you mean? Just like talking about, like, game releases and stuff, Pinky? Speaking of epic, guys, Midnight Suns, you've got like just over 3 hours left to get Midnight Suns for free. Still, if you're interested, okay? So if you're interested in Midnight Suns, which I think is going to be a pretty good experience if you like the squad-based tactical battle kind of games, right? It's done by Fireaxis, that has been doing XCOM for, you know, ever. And it's also got the Marvel Universe, obviously. So if you any of that seems cool, then, you know, this is a win for you. So if you're interested, Marvel's Midnight Suns will be free for only the remaining next 3 hours, basically, and then it'll go away. So grab it if you're interested, okay? Who even wants to play anything in 2025 except GTA? Me. You know why? I'll give you one reason first and foremost. One reason first and foremost. Soup, can you guess it? Oh. Nice, Pinky. All right, dude. All right, cool, man. No. There are going to be a lot of people that aren't planning on playing GTA in 2025 for good reason. You can't tell me you don't know it. And you can't think of it. Especially in 2025 when it releases. Come on, man. Use that big brain, dude. Use that big brain. Come on. Oh, let's go. All right, Finky. It won't be on PC, Doc. It won't be on PC for at least a year after the initial release. PC players. PC players don't care that it's on console. They care that it's only on console. People that are interested in playing GTA 6 that are primarily PC players, the only reason they do care is that it's scummy. So there are a lot of people that won't be playing that otherwise would be, actually, because they either don't want to play it on console, or they don't even have a console to play it on because they're a PC gamer. So there's the answer to your question, buddy. Yeah, there's some new stuff on Amazon Prime Gaming right now this month, I think. Let's cover that again. There's some pretty good games they're giving away this month, if I remember correctly. Steam Next Fest. What is it and what games can you play for free? Steam Next Fest coming along, huh? Let's go. Brother, could we have not been talking about this at a better time? What a coincidence. GTA 6 release date already dreaded by PC gamers. Star Wars Outlaws can be finished in 30 hours, says creative director. Solid chunk of time. And that's can be, right? What we did see of Star Wars Outlaws looks pretty decent. Again, we'll find out when the game releases as we start getting reviews pouring in. 30 hours is pretty respectable. Can be. And I think that means that you're probably going to be getting, in that type of game, the ability to pursue side quests, collectibles, things like that, that will add even more to your experience if you so wish to, you know, pursue that kind of stuff, right? I say this a lot. I think there's a balance to be struck between, you know, when you're talking about these kinds of games, these types of experiences on a AAA front, of what you expect to get out of what you're paying for a AAA game, right? These kinds of more single-player narrative campaign experiences and stuff. I think a really solid thing for developers to shoot for is to give the game player somewhere between 25 to 30 hours worth of game time on just the main story. I think that is a great aim for developers. I think it's a nice middle ground between not being too long and not being too short in regards to the main story of the game, allowing people that don't have a whole lot of time to play games to finish it in a respectable amount of time, and you know, other side, people to not feel like they've been necessarily cheated out of an experience by paying too much for something, right, and not getting enough of an experience. I think it's a good middle ground. But again, I think these types of experiences also do need to give you that option of pursuing side quests, pursuing collectibles, whatever, all kinds of things like that. If you are really enjoying the experience, enjoying the game, give you more stuff to do in the world, as long as it feels engaging and not just like repetitive, boring filler content. You know, that's the trick right there. So I respect it. I think that's a good time frame right there. PS Plus Extra and Premium games of June include Monster Hunter, Far Cry, and more. We'll take a look at this. Is Roblox safe? No. I don't think it is. Everything I've ever heard about Roblox is that it's definitely not a safe place for kids, even though it's aimed at children. Oh, Silk Song subreddit is now leaking everywhere. Wait, what? Are you for real? What? Oh no. Interesting. Did something come out? Or are they just flipping tripping because nothing happened in the summer game showcases? Dude, I called it a couple days ago. I was like, dude, the summer showcase is over. There was nothing Silk Song. All the flipping Silk Song fans are going to be losing their minds. It is not safe at all, I know, Soup. Dude, I never introduced my kids to Roblox. I never let them get on Roblox or anything because it's absolutely, in my opinion, not a safe place for children. Absolutely not. I hate the fact that it's promoted towards children and they do a terrible job. No way. Oh. That's fucking funny, dude. No way. It's actually, like I said, I was talking about it a couple days because, brother, it was like every flipping showcase we watched on YouTube. There'd be people in chat going, here we go, we're gonna get Silk Song, we're gonna get Silk Song, we're gonna get, and even before the showcase started, I even had, conversations with people even here in this community. It was like, are we gonna see Silk Song? And I was like, no, I don't think so, and I don't even care. You know how I feel about it. I'm over it, dude. I'm over it. Skong. But dude, when we were like kind of getting through the meat of all the showcase, I think it was like on Monday, I was like, dude, these Silk Song fans or the Hollow Knight fans are gonna be livid. They're gonna be pissed. This is what I was talking about, like in April of this year too. Remember the whole April Fool stuff they pulled? Remember? And how I was talking about how bad that felt? This is, we're going on what, 2 years now since they had the announcement. I think it was Summer Games Fest time the Summer Showcase time of 2022. If I remember correctly, maybe it was a little bit later than that, but it was around that time frame where they announced that Silk Song was going to release within the next year. And then last year came and went, no Silk Song, right? And no, Team Cherry wasn't talking about it, nobody, right? And everybody's like, what's going on? And then they come out with like some April Fool's bull crap and everything. I'm like, I'm over this, dude. And I feel bad for all the fans. I do. I really feel bad. But I knew there were going to be a bunch of people hyped up going, Silk Song, Silk Song, we're going to see Silk Song. And I was like, I would not get hyped about it for this summer showcase season. I just wouldn't. I think, I don't know. I don't know what's going on at Team Cherry. I don't know what's going on with Silk Song, I don't know how they get to a point where they're like ready to announce that the game will be ready in a year, and now we're like virtually 2 years past the date whenever they came out and told everybody it would be out in a year, and there's nothing, it's crazy. But I think that's why people just need to try their best to quit being hyped about it, man. It's crazy. Hands-on preview, Marvel Rivals won't make a hero shooter fan out of me. God dang. Hey, bot, what's up? Get banned, idiot. Say bye. Everybody say bye, bot. Bye. Bye, bot. X Defiant finally fixing 2 of the most hated issues with the game. Let's see what they're talking about. Oh, no way. Dude, they are. Overpowered snipers and bunny hopping. Did I write that article or something? What are you talking about? Which one? Which one? So, dude, they're fixing bunny hopping. Thank God. This is the thing that I was saying. They need to put a cooldown on jumping or something to remove bunny hopping. Bunny hopping is so disgusting in these kinds of games. It feels so stupid, you know? So bunny hopping's getting nerfed. Thank God. Here's the problem I have. Part of the reason I'll tell you why they're nerfing snipers. They're nerfing snipers because hackers are using them. Cheaters are using them. Oh, about not hating. Yeah. Oh, the hero shooters one. Yeah, we'll talk on that. Yeah, yeah. I don't have a lot of hope for Marvel Rivals either. It looked intriguing to begin with, but dude, NetEase and their scumminess, God, yeah, not a lot of hope there. We'll read about it though. I was worried that this was going to happen. I talked about this while we were playing X Defiant. I was worried because snipers are supposed to feel powerful, right? Snipers are supposed to feel like you're crushing people, you know? And I think there are some other issues in the game with like I think shotguns are underpowered, to be honest with you. I think that because one of the reasons being the hip fire on them is trash. Hip fire on shotguns feels terrible right now. And one of the guns that you should be able to hip fire with in the game is shotguns. That is the way that should work, right? So I felt like they needed to address that a little bit personally. But this was some of the other stuff that I was worried, or I thought they would address. Now, the overpowered sniper things, it's unfortunate because snipers are supposed to feel powerful, right? They're supposed to feel powerful. And the problem we're having is there's so much hacking and cheating going on in the game that basically whatever all these hackers and cheaters are doing is they're just running around with aimbot on, and they just run a sniper and they just snap ADS, shoot everybody, and it just crushes everybody. So you just run around, jump and slide, bunny hop, jump and slide. Anytime you see anybody, snap ADS and shoot, and you're going to slaughter them. We see it happen all the time in the game, and I was worried about this. I was like, I'm worried what they're going to do to try and eliminate how bad the cheating feels. This is them trying to put a band-aid on something instead of trying to fix it, right? So instead of trying to actually get rid of cheaters and prevent them from making dupe accounts and stuff, right? What you get is them nerfing, you know, guns to try and put a band-aid on the experience for everybody playing the game. This is not a fix, dude. This feels bad. We'll talk about it as I read this article. One of the best PSP games is returning to PS5 and PS4. Snipers one shot, not all the time. Not all the time. It depends. Dude, I literally, like, the last day I was playing it, I point blank range ADS'd somebody in the gut. It only took him down to like 44 health. Only took him down to 44 health. So, it depends. You know, it depends. Quite often, if you're they do feel powerful, but it's not always like I've hit plenty of people. Now there's two different snipers, obviously, right? Different weapons in the game. Different weapons have different, you know, varied kinds of stats and stuff like. So there's a 50 cal sniper in the game too, which is we'll have to see how they're going to nerf stuff. The 50 cal sniper I don't use because it's very slow. Very slow. I've used it just a little bit. I'm guessing it hits even harder than the one that I normally use. The one I use is more mobile. You can get shots off faster, stuff like that. But the 50 cal, I'm sure hits like a truck, dude. But even the one that I use, quite often, you know, if you're pretty dead on with like a body shot or a headshot, obviously, then you're crushing people, you know. But it doesn't kill all the time. It doesn't kill all the time. I have plenty of times where I'll hit people and they won't die. They'll be at like low health after I hit them, you know. So we'll talk about it though. Content warning: publisher makes one of its Steam games free to keep it alive. Interesting. Brother, they're talking about Nightfall. Look, Pinky. I just realized. They're talking about Nightfall, dude. Bro, that game was so good on release. That's one of my favorite flipping clips, too, dog. That's one of my favorite clips where we're playing that game together and that dude's out there like tooting his horn and like waving his flag, and I'm out there as a ghost going, he's over here, bro. You know? And you like cap him with one shot, dude. I was tripping. That was such a good clip, dude. I love that clip, man. That clip cracks me up every time I watch it, man. It's so funny, dude. How did multiple unannounced games leak through the Epic Game Stores? Take a look at this. That's a good flipping clip, dude. That game was so much fun, dude. In the beginning. That game was so much fun. That was like back when we first started playing games together too, dude. Switch games hit with fantastic new sale for a limited time. I think we already talked about this on Tuesday, but I'll pull it up real quick for everybody. Visions of Mana release date announced. Take a quick peek. Take-Two to expand portfolio with upcoming video games. We'll see that. I'm sure that'll be copium there. Was it was that the first one ever? Was it? I knew it was. It had to be close. I think it might be. That's crazy, dude. That was so much fun, bro. Those flipping horses, dog. Those horses drifting and stuff. God, that was a fun time, dude. It was fun. Doing any shot other than that just skill issue. Yeah, it's true, dude. Yeah. Right, yeah. That's funny, bro. I totally forgot about that. That was fun, dude. Ah, the good old days. We've already got this up. Actually, I might read that one. I like Insider Gaming. They're pretty concise about stuff. Yeah, let's do that. That works. Elden Ring has sold over 25 million copies worldwide so far, guys. Crazy. Yeah. 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 I don't think there were like a ton of people playing the game, but that was pretty wild. You know? I think it caught on there for a second though, man. There was a little bit of hype around it. It was a fun game, dude. I think they should have just left it the way it was in the beginning. There was no need to change it. If they weren't going to continue to work on that game, you know, I don't think there was any need to change it from what it was in the first place. It was great just the way it was. Because it was like an April Fool's joke game, right? That's what it was. It was just like an April Fool's joke game is what they did. They released it for April Fools or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. And so, when it released in the first place, it was fantastic. And then they started, you know, toying with it and changing stuff. And it kind of ruined it. And they weren't even planning on supporting it, really. They just, like, changed it and then left it. And it was like, man, why? Dude, we got a lot of news this morning. Most Elden Ring players currently won't be able to play Shadow of the Erdtree? What? Let's see what this is. Let's see what this is about. New Xbox update as well. God dang, dude, we're getting slammed with news. Oh, there's going to be a penalty to players that jump too much. Nice. That's interesting. So that's how they're going to nerf it. Well, we'll read about it. I got it up. Dude, the new Astrobot game looks pretty solid, I must say. It looks pretty good. We'll try one more page here. We got a lot of stuff right now. Wait, are people still playing Suicide Squad? Bro, they should just cut their losses. You know. All right, let's go, dude. We got a lot of articles here. Let's get into it. PlayStation Plus game catalog gets 14 games in June, people. You can see a lot of them right here. Football Manager 2024, Crusader Kings 3, Monster Hunter Rise, Supercross 6, Anno 1800, After Us, all these. 14 new games joining PS Plus catalog in June, starting June 18th. 10 are available for PS Plus Extra and Premium members. The remaining 4 are for Premium subscribers only. So, the 10 that are available for PS Plus Extra and Premium are Monster Hunter Rise, Football Manager, Crusader Kings 3, Monster Energy Supercross, After Us, Anno 1800, Police Simulator, Patrol Officers, Far Cry 4, Lego The Hobbit, Lego The Incredibles. The 4 that are also available and only going to be accessible through Plus Premium tier of the subscription service are Kayak VR Mirage, Lego Star Wars 2, the original trilogy, Ghost Hunter, and Daxter. All right, there you go. If you need that list, I'll link it to you. There it is. Most Elden Ring players currently won't be able to play Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. Despite being one of the most highly anticipated releases this year, it seems that most Elden Ring players won't be able to play the game Shadow of the Erdtree DLC when it launches next week. Upon announcing the launch date for Shadow of the Erdtree earlier this year, FromSoft informed players of what they need to do in order to access the expansion once it arrives. Despite having such a long time to prepare, though, it looks like most players will be unable to play the DLC right away. Recently, it was discovered that the most Elden Ring players have yet to defeat the boss Mog, Lord of Blood. While an optional boss within Elden Ring, defeating Mog at his residence, Mogwin Palace, is a requirement in order to begin accessing the new content found in Shadow of the Erdtree. Based on various achievements and trophy data for Elden Ring, however, the vast majority of players have yet to defeat the formidable boss. Did I defeat Mog? Hold on. I'm not planning on playing the DLC right now, but where am I? I did! That's what I thought. I did think I beat him. Nice. Cool. Yeah. Get wrecked, Mog. I was pretty sure I did. Cool. I would be able to play it if I was going to play it. But, getting back to it, looks like a lot of people haven't. Yeah, exactly what I just saw. When looking at Steam, only about 38% of Elden Ring players own the achievement that is tied to beating Mog. On PlayStation, this percentage sits at about 35%, while those on Xbox come in at a lowly 18%. Why are Xbox players having such a hard time? As a result, it's very clear the majority of Elden Ring players who have experienced the game over the past 2 years won't be able to take part in the DLC unless they take down Mog very soon. On Bandai Namco's end, this has to be a bit of a concern, as sales of the Elden Ring DLC might be a bit less than expected if most players can't even access it. In fact, Bandai has been urging players on social media to make a strong push over the next week to defeat Mog before Shadow of the Erdtree drops. Whether or not these Mog defeat rates begin to climb in the coming days isn't known, but if you're looking to play the DLC the moment it goes live, you definitely have some work to put in before that time. Shadow of the Erdtree expansion for Elden Ring is going to roll out next week on June 21st across all platforms that the game is on. Cool. That's interesting. I didn't know that that was the case. And if you didn't know, now you know, chatters. Xbox rolls out June update. Here's what it does, peoples. Xbox has found a handful of small ways to make sure the user experience is better. New system update has been rolled out on all Xbox consoles, offering a handful of improvements to the overall experience. Starting today, Xbox users should notice some helpful quality of life improvements to help things like backgrounds, cloud gaming, and more. There's nothing too significant, but Microsoft has found ways for players to customize their experience and enjoy their games in small but noticeable ways. Dynamic backgrounds. Following today's update, users will have the option of mixing and matching. For example, if the user wants to see the Madden NFL 24 background of a specific NFL quarterback, most of the time they can do that, but they also have the cover art for RE2 take over the background when that game is highlighted. So they're making it more dynamic for how you want your background to be shown in different occasions for when you're on your device. Cloud gaming. Xbox Cloud users now have an option to manage their saved data on their desktop or mobile device to help get you out of a bad spot or start your game over again. Basically, you can resync your game saves and even delete them now under the Manage Games tab in Settings. Mouse and keyboard support has also been added for all Xbox Cloud users. Okay. Now, when bringing up cloud gaming on PC or Mac, users will find a section called Play with Mouse and Keyboard. They're just now getting that. Currently, games like Atomic Heart, Quake 2, and High on Life all support the option. However, readers should keep in mind that the latter game will be leaving Xbox Game Pass in just a few short days. Other improvements. Changes to cloud gaming and backgrounds are the biggest ones, but there are a few others as well. You can now manage your subscription straight from your console. Firmware update for Xbox controllers has also been added, and the Xbox Adaptive Controller will now better support full functionality of some accessibility peripherals. That's the gist of it, people. So if you're an Xbox player, a few updates for you there. You could take every single letter out of the name of that service, and it would still be better than PS Plus. It doesn't matter what you call it. It'll always be superior. Nope. It's not. Absolutely not. I mean, that's going to be a very, in all honesty, it's going to be a very subjective kind of thing, notion there, right? Because people have preferences of platforms and stuff like that, so it's going to be subjective. Everybody's going to respectively feel different about that. But on the business end of things, PS Plus will never be able to stand up to Game Pass as a service until they decide, if ever, to release PlayStation games as day one for their service. Otherwise, they'll never be the same kind of service that Game Pass is. It's just a fact, dude. It's just a fact. What are you talking about? Oh, Game Pass is monthly, PS Plus as well. Well, I mean, you can buy them in different increments. You don't have to go monthly. You can go 6 months. You can buy annually, whatever. You know what I mean? I prefer just buying it for $70. I think that you have to take a look at it like this, actually. So I think there is a bit of a change happening in the way that many gamers, especially the younger generation of gamers, are starting to address their catalogs, right? Wait, what? Well, I mean, that's valid. That's valid. But again, I think it's a very, I think everybody respectively feels it. Look, there's a reason. Let's be very clear here. Let me pull up something for you, okay? There are going to be pros and cons to it, right? Don't get me wrong. Give me a break. So, Xbox Game Pass reported that 34 million subscribers in February of this year, right? The overall reach of the Microsoft Xbox network was an estimated 120 million monthly active users. So just Game Pass alone as a subscription was 34 million. And they report paid, not like, you know, trial memberships or so. This is what they report in this, and I've confirmed this before, are paid memberships, right? So I think that and I'm of the same notion many of you are, right? I buy almost all my games, but I have grabbed. I'll give you some occasions, right? So there will be certain occasions where I'm like, well, I don't know that I really want to own that game. I kind of want to try it and see what it's like, but I don't really want to own that game. And for me, there's been, like, I'll give you an example. Exo Primal, right? Exo Primal was a game that I felt like was pretty scummy coming out of Capcom when they were asking like almost a AAA price tag for that game, and we all knew what it was really about, right? It was just riddled with monetization, but it was kind of an interesting thing. I wanted to try it. So for me, wanting to see what that game played like, it was going to be on Game Pass day one, and so just grabbing a month of Game Pass to try that game out rather than buying it full-fledged, you know, I think that's where it's a beneficial service to a lot of people, you know. And there have been other occasions many times where I've told people, like for instance with Immortals of Avium, right? because with Game Pass Ultimate, you get access to EA Play as well. Yeah. So with Immortals of Avium, whenever that game was coming out, I told my advice to everybody was, this game's not going to be worth the AAA price tag. If you're really interested in it, at least wait until reviews come out. And if it's being reviewed very, very well and you're, that interested in it, then by all means buy it. But at least wait for reviews to come out. And if it's just looking mediocre and you're still interested in playing it, it will be on EA Play within 6 months to a year after coming out. Just get a Game Pass Ultimate subscription and then play it on there. That way you're not out, even more money, right? So, I mean, I think there are situations where it does play well, and I do think that younger generations of gamers are becoming more apt to the idea of not necessarily needing to own their libraries as much as just being in. And I'm not one of those, I like to own my games. I'm like you guys are, right? For the most part. Like I said, there are situations for me where I'll grab a month of like Game Pass here and there or whatever if there's something I want to try out, and but it's fairly sporadic. It's not very consistent for me. I buy most of my games, but I think when you look at these kinds of numbers, right? It's a service that works for a lot of people. You can't deny that. You know what I mean? But it's a subjective kind of thing. Everybody feels a little bit different about the way they access their games, the way they want, whether or not you really want to outright own, have it in a library, or you're just good with, the same thing. I mean, this is another thing I was talking. I'll give you another recent example. I specifically to Xbox's labels, Ninja Theory just came out with Hellblade 2. I did not think that game, time-wise, for the experience you're getting. And there's nothing wrong with short games, but $50 for a 6 to 8 hour experience, I don't see it, dude. I don't see it. I don't see that being worth, personally. And I was telling everybody, I was like, I think that you're going to get a decent narrative experience. I think that it's going to be visually appealing, but I don't think gameplay-wise it's going to be all that great. So is $50 worth 6 to 8 hours? I don't think so. So go grab a month of Game Pass. Grab a month of Game Pass, play it, and be done with it. There's no replayability in it. You know what I mean? I think that's another example. Like, if you've got a game like that you're just really interested in playing, it's going to be on Game Pass, and you can finish it in a time frame for the month that you're getting that subscription, and there's no reason to ever play it again or whatever, then why not? You know what I mean? It's going to differ from person to person, and I think from title to title. I really do feel that way. Yeah, I don't know. Soup, you say it works fine for Netflix, but for games there's like a time. Why does it work okay for Netflix but not other subscription? Netflix is a subscription service too, dude. What are you talking about? There's no difference. No, Netflix has games too, bro. What are you talking about? Oh my god. You're out of your mind. They actually have a pretty solid selection of games. They just don't have a good enough platform out there to have people access it other than on their mobile app. They actually have really good games on their platform. They do. You're just a hater, dude. You're just a hater. All right, let's talk about this. So, how to claim Amazon Prime Gaming's dozens of freebies video games. Users can reportedly score some amazing Amazon Prime Gaming freebies and video games across gaming platforms, some obtainable by simply connecting their Prime accounts with their game accounts. First step is to log on. They'll tell you about this, other perks, blah, 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 whatever. What? They're not actually telling us what's... Okay, I'm going to replace this. Hold on. Here you go. Amazon Prime members get 7 free games in June. These are what you're getting, my peoples. June 6th, Star Wars Battlefront 2 Classic, Weird West Definitive Edition, and Genesis Noir. June 13th, Everdream Valley, Myth Force, Blast Brigade versus the Evil Legion of Dr. Creed, and Projection First Light. Cool? So, if you've got Amazon Prime, then you've got Amazon Prime Gaming, then you've got free games. Actually, all of them are available now, as it is June 13th. So, there's some notable ones in here. Battlefront Classic 2, Battlefront 2 Classic, Weird West. Myth Force looks like it could be fun. There's some stuff in there. There's some stuff in there. Steam Next Fest, what is it? Shut your flippin' mouth, brother. Brother, you've got to be kidding me. All right, let's pull up a different one here. So we're already in the middle of it. I didn't even realize, dude. Steam Next Fest is popping, dude. So June 10th through June 17th. So you got about 4 more days left, man. 7 days, hundreds of demos, and hours of developer live streams. All right. We got Next Fest popping off. I'll link this to you, everybody. What I'll probably do tomorrow is try to pull up a bunch of some of the better demos that have been coming out for people to take a look at from Steam Next Fest. But there's that. Let's look at their store real quick. Oh yeah, they got the whole Next Fest thing up there. Let's go. What's on sale on Steam? Cuphead? Oh my god. Yeah, check out Next Fest. Lots of demos for Steam Next Fest, and probably some decent sales going on too. So take a look. We'll try to cover some of it tomorrow. We just got a lot of articles up today, so we'll try to cover some of the more prominent games being promoted through Steam Next Fest tomorrow on the news segment. Okay. Hands-on preview. Marvel Rivals won't make a hero shooter fan out of me, baby. We've covered this a little bit previously, and it's one of those deals where I think it's pretty unfortunate that NetEase is the one making this game. We've already seen a lot of stuff about how they've been trying to prevent even content creators that got beta access from saying anything negative about their game, and so it's really gross. And what's not on sale? Is everything on sale? Everything's on sale. Nice, dude. Yeah. I kind of figure there's probably a lot between the showcases this past weekend and Steam Next Fest being live. There's probably a ton of stuff on sale. Yeah. Yeah. I'll have to take a look. I want GTA help. Flipping peaky, bro. Oh, Jesus. So yeah, I don't know, NetEase, dude, and you know, consider me not surprised. But whenever you're talking about a developer and they do things like that where they don't want any kind of negative things being said about their game, that means that they don't care about taking any kind of constructive criticism and using it as feedback to try and improve the experience for the people that are playing the game, right? And if that's the case, the game is bound to be bad. It's bound to fail. If a developer is not willing to listen to, you know, and again, feedback is a varied kind of system that it's not necessarily easy to sort through, but if you're getting consistent feedback on certain aspects of what the game should or should not do, and it's, you know, you're getting a large data set of feedback and a lot of it's saying the same thing, those are the things you should be looking at. And if these developers just don't want anything bad said, they just want to turn a blind eye to anything that might be wrong with the game, it's a trash developer, and that's NetEase, dude. You know, Marvel Rivals recent beta got off to a rocky start after the recent fiasco in which creators were forbidden from speaking negatively about the game. I feared the worst for my demo at Summer Games Fest play days, especially given that the hero shooters aren't really my jam. I very much enjoyed the first few phases of the MCU and considered myself a light Marvel fan, so there was a hook for me. But having never played Overwatch, I wasn't sure what to expect. Now, after playing 30 minutes of the game at the recent event, I can say that my fears were compounded, but not because it's a particularly bad game. My time with Marvel Rivals didn't begin in the best fashion. There was no introduction to the game, its modes, the heroes, or their abilities. Instead, the person at the station in front of me was unceremoniously hauled from his bay mid-game, and I was thrown straight into the action in his place. I genuinely had no clue about the controls, what the round's objectives were, or who I should be playing. The person whose place I took was playing as Hulk, Bruce Banner, so I decided to give it a whirl and rush straight into the action. Starting as the Hulk, I was quickly transformed into Banner and then died. I win again. The same thing happens. Turns out, when the Hulk takes enough damage, he's replaced on the battlefield by his lovable scientist counterpart. I didn't get it. I quickly figured out this wasn't working for me, so cycled through a few more characters. I tried Loki, who could place a decoy on the field, Hela, Iron Man, Storm, and a few other characters, but none of them were hitting for me. The first match ended, and I think I ended up with a solitary kill and deaths that reached double figures. I didn't get it. The break between rounds gave me time to pause, reflect, and figure out a strategy for things going forward. Once the frenzy of the first game had died down, I had a little more time to cycle through the characters and found that each was given a rating for just how difficult they were to play. After some deliberation, I landed on the Punisher for my next game. He's a guy with guns. I've played many a shooter before. It seemed like a match made in heaven, and it kind of was. Next match started, and along with my team, my objective was to defend an item, stopping the opposition from taking it to their base. It was still a transitional game for me as I was figuring out Frank Castle's abilities, but things ran a lot smoother. Then we went to the third match, and I cooked. There was a control point in the center of the Asgardian map, and it was our job to capture and protect it. Being able to use a gun and utilize the Punisher's turret, I went 17 for 2 in this game, helping my team to a decisive victory. Turns out games are fun when you know what you're doing and you're not having your ass kicked. It was here my time with the demo ended, and I came away a little conflicted. Once I had the flow of the game down, I had a good time. I think my experience was just hampered by the way the session began. That being said, I'm not sure Marvel Rivals is going to be the killer title that converts millions of non-believers into fans of hero shooters. It might, though, just be enough to fill an Overwatch-shaped hole for those who have been yearning for a fun cooperative shooter. We'll see. Sounds like serious skill issue. Yeah. Yeah. Sounds like my kind of issue, right? I don't know, man. It's the things I've seen from the game look interesting, but it's, again, the NetEase part of it is just real concerning, and everybody wants to do an Overwatch clone, it seems like, right? I mean, it's becoming very polluted. The whole 5-on-5 or 6v6, you know, kind of third-person or first-person shooter, you know, team-based stuff. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I mean, it'll be out before too long, and we'll see what's up with it. X-Defiant finally fixing the 2 most hated issues with the game. We've been playing an amount of X-Defiant in here, And I can already tell, we already know from pulling the article up in the first place that it's bunny hopping and they're nerfing snipers. And funny enough, the two of the main things, those are two of the main things I've talked about through my early experience of playing XDefiant, which was, I hope they don't nerf snipers just because cheaters and hackers are using snipers, right? Because that feels like a bad way to address cheating and hacking, is to nerf a weapon, and I think that's what they're doing here. We'll read about it and find out, but I was worried they would do that, because basically cheaters and hackers, all they're doing is running aimbot a lot, right? They'll run aimbot and they'll just run a sniper and they'll just snap ADS everybody, and it feels bad. It does, because snipers are powerful, but snipers are supposed to be powerful, right? So in my opinion, it feels bad to see them addressing this, because I think that's why they're doing it, for the most part anyways. The bunny hopping stuff is really molding. It feels so stupid to be in matches and half the people in the game are just hopping around like idiots. It just feels stupid. And I was really hopeful that they would nerf bunny hopping, because it just feels so dumb, you know? And so I'm glad they're doing that. But let's read to see what they're doing with all this and why. XDefiant is only 1 month old at this point, and so far has been a big hit with players, with many praising it as a solid alternative to games such as Call of Duty. Despite this, it isn't without its issues, and two major ones have been plaguing the game since launch: overpowered snipers and bunny hopping. After receiving a huge amount of backlash from the community, Ubi has finally addressed both in the recently released Season 1 update. Okay, so in the XDefiant Season 1 patch notes, Ubi revealed that both the snipers and bunny hopping have been nerfed. Okay. With the snipers adding flinch and aiming penalties now being applied to bunny hopping. Revamped how snipers flinch when they're tagged by enemy fire, increasing the flinch and keeping it going through multiple hits. Added aiming penalties for players who go to town on the jump crouch buttons, aka the nuanced tactics of jump spamming, aka the maddening exploit of jump spamming. Yeah, this is great news for players, as many were being turned off by these issues and it was beginning to drive players away from the game. In addition to these much needed fixes, the XDefiant Season 1 update also brings with it new weapons, modes, maps, factions, and more to keep players entertained for the foreseeable future. With Black Ops 6 still many months away, now's the perfect time for Ubi to establish a strong player base before it faces major competition later this year. Yep. Okay. We'll see how it plays. We'll see how it plays. So the damage apparently hasn't really been affected on the snipers. And that's what I was worried about. I was worried they were going to nerf sniper damage. And as a way to address the cheating. And I guess that's not going to be the play. Now, here's the problem. They still need to address. There's a lot of rampant cheating and hacking going on in this game. It's quite obvious when it happens too. So I'm glad that they're not like nerfing the damage. It doesn't sound like what they're doing is making it harder to hold your aim and stuff whenever you're getting hit, or you know, you see people all the time in the game when they're they'll just be running around with like a sniper, like and it's ridiculous because they'll run around with a sniper. They'll just be like, you know, jumping and sliding and snap ADS, killing everybody. And it's like, Jesus Christ. You know, it's like, it's just wild. And a lot of times it does feel like they're using some aimbots. Now, the problem being like an aimbot is not going to be affected by this either. So they still need to address the cheating and hacking that's going on in the game. They need to find out a way to really address the cheats that are happening here, because it feels real bad. But I'm glad they're nerfing the bunny hopping crap, because it's so stupid. I really hope that what they've done here is like make it to where your aim just gets bonked, dude, if you start trying to like spam crouch, spam jump, you know, whenever you're playing the game, because that's the way it sounds like, and I guess that is a decent way to address it in the beginning anyways. We'll see how it works. One of the best PSP games is returning on PS5 and PS4. What are we talking about here, man? As of today, Sony announced that it will soon be re-releasing Daxter on PlayStation 5 and 4 next week on June 18th. This release will be available to those who are subscribed to PS Plus Premium, as it will join the list of classics that are playable through the service. For those that want to buy Daxter on its own, though, it will be purchasable on the PS Store. This version of the game is also confirmed to feature rendering, rewind, quick save, and custom video filters to improve the original experience seen on PSP. Cool. There you go. Content warning publisher makes one of its Steam games free to keep it alive. Nightfall: A Daring Journey. Again, this was like the first game that Pinky and I ever played together, and it was a banger when it first came out. They kind of ruined it by altering the content. It was very basic, and it was a ton of fun when it first released. We had a great time with this game, and it basically just established Pinky and I as friends for life, you know, so it'll forever be a very, very, very important game for me. Nightfall: A Daring Journey, a game from the publishers of Content Warning, will soon be free. If you played Content Warning when the viral game got a surprise release on April 1st earlier this year, you may have been inclined to check some of the other games from Landfall, the company responsible for publishing Content Warning. One of those games is Nightfall: A Daring Journey, which is a multiplayer game that's developed by Landfall as well. The game has been out for over 2 years now, but unfortunately for Nightfall: A Daring Journey, it doesn't really have enough players right now to make it a functioning multiplayer game. Here's the thing that sucks. It was really good in the first place, and it sucked to hear that they weren't going to continue to support the game, because it was good. It was really good. It was a lot of fun. And they were like, oh, it was really just an April Fool's kind of thing we did, and we weren't really planning on continuing to support it, so we're not going to. And it was like, you guys should. You know, it was a fun game. It was a lot of fun. But they just dropped it, you know. Fortunately for its current players, as well as those who are just looking to snap up something new, Landfall is planning on making Nightfall: A Daring Journey 100% free to own very soon. Yeah, it was given away on Steam on April 1st of 2022. Very positive reviews on Steam. More recently, it's been getting hit with negative reviews since players weren't plentiful enough to even populate games. Starting June 18th, it will be free to own. The game's a banger. I'll link it to you on Steam, and I'll link this if you want to take a look at it. We'll probably get a notification in our probably get a notification in our Discord channel whenever it happens. Okay. Oh, that's the wrong one. My bad. It was this one. This one. So, A Daring Journey. This is it. You basically got drifting horses, and you know, it was a really good game, dude. Overall, all reviews 88% positive. We had a great time playing this, and it'll be free in about 5 days. Okay, so I'll link it to you now, but take a look at it. And again, we'll probably get a notification from our bot in Discord whenever it comes out on the 18th as being free, so I'll try to remind people then. Epic Games had multiple unannounced games leaked through the Epic Games Store. How did this happen? In an event not seen since numerous video games leaked through NVIDIA GeForce Now, a third-party tool accidentally exposed a bunch of listings on the Epic Games Store. A website called Epic Database, or Epic DB actually, featured public pages for a bunch of unannounced titles from Square, Sony, Sega, Saber, and many others. While a lot of what people found were codenames Tuesday night, going through the metadata and looking at related files revealed a lot about what they could actually be. The story is a bit confusing. Let's break down exactly what went down, what games leaked, and what steps Epic is already taking to prevent it from happening again. Steam database only lists games that have live store pages. That didn't happen with Epic database, which listed pages that were registered but hadn't been pushed online yet. Gaming fans quickly caught on, leading to a wave of unintentional leaks. What leaked? A number of unannounced AAA projects were listed. A user on Reset Era posted a number of screenshots noting that if you search through publishers on the database, you'll see every release registered through the Epic Game Store. Some are more obvious than others. There appears to be a Turok remake coming from Saber, with a listing that was created just last month called simply Turok. Many of them are listed under code names. On the Sony Interactive Entertainment page, there are listings with codenames Utah and Rhode Island. Many have speculated that Rhode Island refers to The Last of Us Part 2 remastered PC port, because a 3-year-old game needed a remaster. Meanwhile, over on Square Enix's Japan's page, you have games with codenames Skobeloff and Momo. So some of the listings include what appears to be Final Fantasy 16 Skobeloff, Final Fantasy 9 Remake Momo, with a Tetra Master Starter Pack and Thief Knives bonus. Turok from Saber. Interesting. All of this should be taken with a grain of salt. Code names can be rather random, so they might not be connected. So they might not connect. So obviously, 2 projects. Yeah. Yeah. Dude, they've talked about that. What's up, Ferret? Did you decide on a keyboard, dude? Yeah, they've talked about the Final Fantasy VI remake situation. I think we've talked about that a little bit too. It's so very much wanted. I want it. A lot of people want it, right? I mean, it's a lot of people's favorite game. And if not favorite game of all time, favorite Final Fantasy game, you know. Yep, Ducky. Yep. I've heard good things about Ducky as well. Yep. So what we've heard from Square about the whole like potential of a Final Fantasy VI remake is the reason we shouldn't expect it right now is because they're so wrapped up in the Final Fantasy VII remake stuff, right? So the Final Fantasy VII remake stuff obviously is taking them a significant amount of time because it's 3 entries, and each of these entries is taking multiple years to develop and release and everything. And they've basically said as much as it would be the same situation for something like Final Fantasy VI, in their opinion, to do it right and to modernize it, to get all of that kind of content out to everybody. It would be a very, very long development process, and whether or not it would be multiple releases or not, I don't know. But they've basically said, you know, for them to do something like that, it would be a significant endeavor to remake Final Fantasy VI, and they know they would have to do it the right way. Yeah. So a lot of people want it, and Square knows it. Square knows it, and they've talked about it, but there's no way I think they're even going to attempt to address it until they're totally finished with Final Fantasy VII remake. You know, they've still got that 3rd one to push out, and so it'll come at some point. I think it'll come, but I think we still got a ways. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, it would be hard to see them change a whole lot about the you know, because of the way the original game. I mean, we talk about that a lot, right? So when you're talking about remaking these, and obviously, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and then, you know, Rebirth, and whatever the last one's going to be called. These are not. They're a bit altered, right, storyline wise and everything. They spun it a bit, right? So it's not a true remake. Like, they didn't just take the original story and just make the game modern, you know, build it from the ground up for a modern experience. It's actually a different narrative and everything too, that plays on the original story. So I would rather see Final Fantasy 6, 3/6 or whatever, if they're going to do it. I would rather see them stick to the original story, right? I don't want to see them alter it. I think it worked for Final Fantasy 7, but for I think 3/6, I would rather see them stick to the original story as well. Yeah, no matter what, it's going to take a long time. I agree, and I agree with. That's the thing we talk about a lot with remakes, though. Also, right? With remakes, a lot of it's about sticking to the core of what made the experience, in large part, so engaging, and sticking to a lot of what is that original experience, right? Modernizing it, of course, and I think they've done a great job with Final Fantasy VII, you know, in the remake and Rebirth, and I'm sure they'll kill whatever comes next too. They're gonna nail that for the last entry. But I agree. I think that in large part, it needs to be a modern turn-based combat system that still gives you, in essence, a lot of what you were experiencing in that first, you know, experience, in the original experience, right? I agree. So has Epic responded on this front of what we were talking about? It's good to see you, buddy. Epic got to work, and within a few hours released a patch to its platform. It means it won't happen again anytime. Again, everything that we've seen here really is just about, like, grain of salt, guys. So this is probably pretty good information about Turok and this Final Fantasy 9 remake. Stuff like that, but till it's official, it's just, you gotta take a little bit of salt with it. Oh, that's sick, dude. Yeah. Yo, good for that developer. Yo, I'll promote that. Hold on. What's it called? Downward. Yeah, I'll promote that, dog. Yo, I love that. I love that. This one. Sick, dude. Yo, good call. Thanks, brother. Yo, this is the kind of stuff, like, you know, talk about this a lot. Whenever you see a developer like you know, I was just talking about The Last of Us Part 2 got a remaster. The game's only 3 years old. That's stupid. That didn't make any sense. Okay, that game is 3 years old. It did not need a remaster yet. But what are they doing? Like, if you want the remastered edition, you don't even get it for free if you already own the original, right? They're not telling their fan base thank you, you know, with this or anything like that. They're going, well, you can upgrade your version for a nominal fee, you know. What's the release? This says July of 2017, but I didn't know. Yeah, July of 2017, so not quite. Yeah, it's like 7 years. 7 years. Yeah. But this is that kind of thing that, you know, you want to see from a developer. If a developer is going to do something like this, then they just give you, you know, if you already own it, they give you that upgrade. They give you that upgrade if you own the original, right? Oh yeah, for sure, dude. Yeah, absolutely. This is telling their fan base and the people that supported the game through its original release and everything, thank you. That's what this is, and that's the way it should be. That's the way this should happen, man. You know, telling the people that have been a purchaser of your product, supported your company, and a fan of your game, that you appreciate what they've done for you. And if you're gonna do something like this and release a enhanced version, a remaster or whatever, and people already own it, you don't make them pay for the same game again. You give them that upgrade. That's amazing. So I will definitely plug this, dude. Thank you. If anybody's interested, 77 on Metacritic. You like parkour games like our bro Ski Pinky does, man. There you go. Yeah, most likely replay it. Yeah, let me know what your experience is again, dude, with the remaster. That's very cool, man. Thank you. Nintendo Switch games hit with fantastic new sale for limited time. What do we got here? Best Buy sale, apparently. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, $40. Super Mario Odyssey, $40. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, $40. Splatoon 3, $40. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, $40. Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, $40. Kirby and the Forgotten Land, $45. Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, for $31. Outside of these games that are directly published by Nintendo, a multitude of third-party releases for the platform also happen to be getting price cuts. So if you've got Best Buy in your region, then you can take a look on their website, I'm sure, and see all the different sales that are going on. But here's a link for you as well. I'll throw this in the Discord also, just in case. Gamer Deals section. Oh, nice, Pinky. Sick. Flipping ferret. Yo, did you guys get the raid done yet, dude? Visions of Mana release date announced. Square has today revealed the launch date for Visions of Mana, the next mainline installment in the Mana series. For the occasion, a new trailer was aired. Let's watch this.
That day, I accepted my fate and left my village. A person chosen to offer their soul to the goddess, an alm, must journey to the mana tree. The mana of the world is replenished through that alm sacrifice, blessing our lands with prosperity. The alms are necessary to preserve a future for the whole world. It is our duty, much as a soul guard's duty is to protect us. We all have our individual roles to play, ways of life. All of these affect the future. Yeah. And I am proud to be the bearer of such an important mission for those who may come after.
It sounds like you're getting there anyways.
But I don't want to have to give all of this up. I want to keep living my life. And now that I've realized that, I know that what I really want is to stay here and keep making memories with you.
Woo.
Val.
Boy, it's a spicy raid, it sounds like, dude.
I am the Soul Guard. It's my duty to protect the alms from harm. Hina, any monsters we meet along our journey to the Mana Tree won't lay a finger on you.
There's nothing you can say that'll change my mind. I'll become the alm and make you see you were wrong about me. About everything.
It is kind of weird seeing an anime art style kind of game and then have a character in it with a southern like a southern US accent, dude. That's kind of weird.
Soul Guard Val.
A lot of communication.
I am counting on your protection on our journey to the Tree of Mana, such as it is.
That was weird, dude. I mean, I like it. Don't get me wrong.
There's nothing I can do about this. Gosh, the fairy's taking her sweet time this year. Get ready. Come on.
Jesus. She was spicy, dude. God dang. Where's Soup at? Flipping waifu material, dude. Soup, waifu.
Atta girl, Ramco.
A perfect opportunity to collect data.
That makes sense, Ferret. Yeah. Yo, random mode time. That's a terrible random mode. Bro, let's go. Let's go.
The name's Orin.
Nice, Ferret.
Until we meet again, Holmes.
Look for that
We're all
FB
counting
run or
on
the
you.
PMS twin, dude. Let's go.
May you safely reach your journey's end. Come on, don't give up.
So
Bro,
many
Pinky, did you see how many
alms have
times
given their souls to the
I
Mana
died
Tree?
at the end of Act 1 of Ghost of Tsushima, dog?
The better tomorrow. To protect the next generation.
That guy
we
was
will protect
slaughtering
the
me,
Mana
dude.
Tree. We will protect the entire world.
Nice. So, they've got a synopsis here about what you can experience in the game, but it's going to launch on August 29th for PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Microsoft Store, and Steam. Yeah, bro, against your, like, homie. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Brother. God dang, dude. Yeah, I was getting slaughtered, dude. Oh, dog, it sucked so bad. He was so fast, dude. And it was like a one-hit kill, you know? He was so fast, and it was like a one-hit kill. The thing, here's what sucked. So, like, you know, when you first start that battle, especially, like, on the difficulty we're playing it on, it's trying to learn those moves and be ready for them is quite brutal. Oh, brother, I was flipping. I got so salty the other day, dude. Was it Monday I was playing it? Yeah, because Tuesday I did X fine. Monday I was playing it. That's whenever I was so salty, bro. I was so salty. He was tripping me out, and then I couldn't figure out how to dodge his stupid wind up red attack, dude. His wind up red attack. I was having a really hard time dodging that. And luckily it wasn't as powerful. That was like the only one I could get hit by and not die from. But this is what pissed me off. So whenever I first started that fight, I had like almost full what are the little you know, orbs called that you have? I can't remember what they call that in the game. To like heal yourself or revive yourself or whatever, right? And after I died a handful of times or whatever, loaded back up and they were gone. Yeah. So yeah, I think you're probably right. So I did have a couple of his attacks that did become parryable. So they would show up as blue, right? I had like one or two of his attacks that showed up as blue. So I was able to parry some of his stuff, but there were still red ones in there too that were brutal, dude. Even the blue ones that I could parry were just so fast that it took me a minute, dude, to get the timing down on it. I thought that I was getting the parries, dude. I swear to God, I thought I was getting the parries, but I was still just getting slaughtered. And I was like, I'm hitting parried. You know? Oh, brother, we're way over it. Yeah, we're way over it. Yeah, I'm at like 180, I think, somewhere around there. What are we at right now? 182. 182. Yeah, there was like once I figured it out, you know, it wasn't too bad, but dude, the thing that, like I said, what sucked was I went into that fight with all of my flipping orbs. So whenever I first started doing the fight, he would kill me in like one hit, because I'm trying to learn the mechanics. He'd kill me in one hit and I could at least revive once and keep trying. Well, dude, after I died about 7 or 8 times, it loaded me back into the fight. All my resolve was gone, dude. Loaded me back into the fight with all my resolve gone. And I'm like, are you flipping kidding me? All resolve gone, dude. So, no reviving, no healing. I basically had to no hit it, dude. I had to, like, no hit the fight. I hate the fact this game does that. What is that? Well, I mean, yeah, that's kind of the way it was going in the beginning, but, you know, it was at least giving me more of an opportunity to learn the fight, you know what I mean? Because that's a lot of what that is. Getting the timing down, learning the moves and everything. So, rather than get hit, reload, get hit, reload, get hit, it was like, you know, get hit, revive, at least try a little bit more, you know? Making a death compilation of all my deaths, brother. I went from like 135 deaths to like 182 or something. Bro, this is, everybody was like, oh my god, because I was dying like every 5 seconds, dude. I was dying like every 5 seconds. 0 time. Yeah, it did. It felt like I had 0 time. So I was dying like every 5 seconds most of the time, and I was like, I kept hitting my death marker, and every time I hit my death marker, it would do the emotional damage, you know? So it's like, every 5 seconds it's like, emotional damage, and everybody was like, oh my god. Turn it off. Yeah, I know you've been busy, dude. That fight was brutal, dog. It was brutal. I got salty, son. I was so pissed about that resolve stuff. They've got to fix that about this game, dude. They really need to fix it about this game. Like, why is it that, like, they've got this weird save system and load system to where half the time, if you take a death, you reload and you're without the stuff you had in the fight that you were using. That's trash, dude. It should not be like that, man. It shouldn't be like that. I hate those systems, dude. It's so stupid. Like, why was all of a sudden all my resolve just taken away whenever I'm loading back in after a death? Like, come on, dude. It's so balls. All right, let's get back in. Take-Two to expand portfolio with upcoming video game. Take-Two Interactive is expected to benefit from the continued expansion of its gaming portfolio. Take-Two plans to launch 16 games in the current year. The company aims to innovate and offer some fresh and exciting games for gamers to enjoy. This plan would further solidify its gaming portfolio and boost its net bookings. The Zacks consensus estimate for Take-Two's fiscal 2025 total net bookings is pegged at $6.12 billion. Dude, I think it's just a poorly implemented save and load system is what I think it is. I think it's poorly implemented save and load. It's not the first time it's happened. It happens a lot in this playthrough. So I don't think it's a bug. I really don't think it's a bug. I think it's a very poorly executed save and load system. They're not the only ones. I have experienced this in other games as well. Dude, Dragon's Dogma 2 had the same thing. It would do the same thing with certain kinds of stuff like that, where you would load back up, you'd be without part of your health bar or certain items you'd used before or whatever, and it was like, what's happening? You know, it's like, dude. It would seem like it, wouldn't it? I think it's a... I know it seems like a bug, but I think it's more of a poorly developed and coded save and load system. That's what I'm saying. I think it's more like something like Pinky's saying. You know what I mean? I don't think it's bad coding equals bug. No, not necessarily. No. I mean, it can lead to bugs, but just because you have a poorly coded mechanic in a game doesn't mean it's a bug. It just means that it's a poorly coded mechanic that doesn't function the way it probably should. It functions the way it was coded. It doesn't mean that it's bugged out. You know what I mean? It's a very thin line there. I know what you're saying, Ferret. But I do think it's more like what Pinky's talking about. And that's the way at least I'm taking it, because I've seen it happen way too often in this game. And it's just really, really odd. Either way, it's terrible. Whether it be just bad development, coding, whatever, for this save and load mechanic in the game, or if it is a bug. It could be a bug, dude. What do I know? Could be a bug. Whatever it is, they need to fix it, because it's balls. It's terrible. I mean, this game's a banger, right? Game's a banger. But, dude, that's one of my biggest criticisms so far about it, is that drives me nuts. Indicating a year-over-year growth of 14.9%, the Zacks consensus estimate for Take-Two's fiscal 2025 revenues is pegged at $5.64 billion, indicating a year-over-year growth of 5.64%. Let's get to the gritty. Let's get to the meat here, dude. Yeah, Take-Two's preparing for several major game releases in fiscal 2025. We know what the biggest one is, right? Obviously, they're going to have their NBA 2K25, WWE game, but GTA 6, right? They're going to have Top Spin 2K25, Tales of the Shire, Lord of the Rings game. No Rest for the Wicked came out earlier this year, but they'll probably be trying to full release it next year. Stuff like that. They're lining up for a pretty big year. We knew that, but Sumo Group closing Timber Games, guys. Another studio shutting down. Timber Games. So, Sumo Group has reportedly closed Timber Games. This follows an announcement yesterday that Sumo would be reducing staff by 15%, putting nearly 250 employees at risk of redundancy. The closure wasn't included in the announcement, but employees shared news of the studio's shutdown on social media. Unfortunately, we learned today that Timber Games is closing, and our entire studio's team of exceptionally talented and wonderful people will no longer be employed. Recruitment coordinator Jenna Dorr shared on LinkedIn. Quote, it's been a true blessing to work at Timber. Also thankful to have gained such a valuable experience and met with all the incredible humans I've come to know and love every day at work. Technical director Campbell Dixon added, it's been an incredible journey over the past 3 years, starting the studio from nothing and growing to a team of almost 100 people. I'm heartbroken and so disappointed to know that we won't be able to finish our game or show anyone this amazing work that we did. Based in Vancouver, Timber Games opened in 2021 as part of Pipeworks Studios, which Sumo acquired for $100 million in September of 2020. Sumo confirmed that to games industry that Timber is impacted as part of the current cuts. Let's look at this real quick. Well, it is official. Yeah, you can see Sumo and Timber Games. Timber Games 100 layoffs and Sumo 150. Right there, right? We have officially surpassed the total number of layoffs that we had in the industry as a whole last year. Last year as a whole, you guys remember how terrible, the industry was addressing how terrible the amount of layoffs we had were for the entirety of last year. It was nonstop. We were talking about it every day in the news. All the industry was discussing it and addressing it. It was just incredibly, incredibly dark. So many layoffs, And for the entire calendar year of 2023, the entire amount of layoffs were 10,500, guys. You can see that number right here. Stop it. See that? Estimated total number of layoffs in 2023, 10,500. Then you go to this year. We have not finished 6 months of the calendar year. We're not halfway done with the year yet, guys. And we've already beat that number. 10,800 now. Are we going to double it this year? We'll just end up not having people work in the industry anymore. Just have software run everything. You know what I mean? Just have AI do everything. Me and you, brother. I know. Yeah. So here's the thing. Brother, Pinky's living in the future too, dude. He's so ready for some lethal. Yeah. That's funny, man. All right. So, let's read this real quick. I found this morning, which is saying that, you know, of all the showcase stuff this year, especially the major console players, you know, we've already had PlayStation that basically kicked off the showcase season at the end of May. And we had Xbox do their stuff on the 9th of June. And now we're just kind of waiting to find out when the Nintendo Direct's going to happen, right? Now, again, I mean, my inkling here, I guess my own kind of perception and of what to expect from Nintendo is not to get your hopes up about any kind of information about their new hardware, games coming out for that hardware, anything like that. The new Nintendo hardware is not going to release until the first quarter of next calendar year. So the first quarter of 2025, right? And with that in mind, I really don't think that we will probably see any kind of official presentation for that hardware or its games that are coming out with it until later this year. So I think that expectations for a Nintendo Direct showcase for this summer need to be hindered a little bit by people on that front. But we still want to see what Nintendo has to offer, right? As everybody else is kind of giving us their show. They've revealed what they have to reveal, even if this summer showcase period was fairly lackluster compared to the past 2 or 3 years. And what we've found out is that Nintendo Direct is likely aiming to showcase around June 18th. It's always hard to determine with Nintendo. They never want to tell anybody when they're doing these showcases until roughly the day of or like within 24 hours before, right? Probably Pinky. While originally planned for June, the Switch showcase could be happening sooner than expected, possibly next week. This unexpected change is due to an early announcement by Innersloth, the developers of Among Us. In May, Nintendo's president Shintaro Furukawa said they'd have a Nintendo Direct in June, like they do every year. This is when they showcase games coming to the Switch later in the year. He also said they'd start talking about the next console in about 9 months. The rumored Switch 2 won't be talked about in the upcoming live streams. That was my understanding as well. It's what I expected. Furthermore, it did appear that the upcoming Nintendo Direct is likely aiming for a stream on June 18th. That would be this coming Tuesday, guys. The speculation rises from the recent incident involving a YouTube video related to an upcoming update for the popular multiplayer game Among Us, which was uploaded and published ahead of schedule by mistake, and then was made private. This unexpected situation regarding the Among Us update has led many fans to speculate that it was intended to coincide with an announcement during the Nintendo Direct scheduled for June 18th. On the other hand, it might be that the video is for a standalone announcement. Innersloth has previously revealed updates in Nintendo Directs, leading to the overall speculation. However, nothing is confirmed so far regarding the Nintendo Direct, as it is all just speculation, as everything always is with Nintendo until they basically tell us right around the start time of the Among Us? Among Us. Yeah, I think that's it. So, and yeah, Lethal. Yeah, fair. We're going to play Lethal as a community here in September, in the lead up to Scaretober, so it should be fun. So, we'll see what we get, dude. We'll keep paying attention as we move through the weekend here and see if we get any more news on whether or not we can confirm we're actually getting Nintendo Direct this coming week, okay? I talked about this on Tuesday. I brought this up. I didn't watch this on Tuesday, though. There was a deep dive for Avowed with Xbox, and you know, we know this game's coming out in November now, and we saw more about it in the Xbox showcase. I'll stick to my sentiments so far. Everything I've seen and heard about what this game entails, I'm not real stoked about it. As a fan of the Pillars games, Pillars 1 and 2, this game does not give me a lot of the Pillar hype, if you will. It just doesn't. It doesn't feel like the same kind of experience. And I mean, I think apparently and quite obviously they didn't intend it to be. But whenever we were hearing about Avowed and it being set in Eora, before we had ever really seen anything and before we had really heard anything, we just knew this was going to be like a first-person RPG experience set in that universe, in that setting and everything, you know? And so for me, my expectations were more along the lines of getting that Pillars experience in a first-person view. And I don't think that's what we're getting. You know, this is a game where you're fairly constrained in your choices of character creation, it seems like, as opposed to what you got in the Pillars games. You're also kind of having your hand held through the experience to make sure that you don't miss out on certain companions and stuff, where that's not a Pillars experience either. Things like that. So for me, it feels a little bit weird. It's supposed to be an open world experience, but they're also kind of guiding you through it and making sure that you don't miss things. And for me, that's something that's kind of a turnoff. I'm sure it's an Obsidian game. Obsidian does a great job. I love Obsidian games. So I think it's going to be a great gameplay experience. I just don't think it's going to appeal for me, being a game set in the world of Eora and not giving a true Pillars experience. That's what I'm concerned about, and I don't think it's going to appeal to me. So on that front, let's watch this and see what we can take away, okay? Just got a shocking news. Apparently September got pushed to 7 months instead of 11 months. I'll have to look into that, dude. Yeah. So let's watch this and see what we got, okay? This is a long video, guys. So we're talking about
in this podcast are pending. Ratings for games in this podcast
27
are
minutes,
pending.
dude.
Welcome back to the official Xbox podcast, the only podcast coming to you from inside Xbox. And all this week, we are diving deep into games you've seen at the Xbox. But we have a special guest with us today.
We do, an even more special guest, and one of my personal faves. It's Carrie Patel, game director on Avowed. Welcome back, Carrie.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Oh man, you have been to the studio several
fresh
times now.
bread.
It is such a
Not
treat
even
that you spend so
article
much time
bots
out here with us. We had
Is that
you
what
on
I am? Am I an
extended
article
showcase
bot?
last year. We did an interview. This was after one of the very first forays into Avowed, so that was very exciting. And then we actually had you on this podcast with a slightly different visual design.
Yeah, the cheese set is gone.
The cheese couch is gone.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Jeff is very happy about that. We got some podcast mics now, which I'm very excited about. Yes. But yes, you were here to go deeper into some extended gameplay following Developer Direct, which was earlier this year. Incredible show, incredible viewing from the team, and it was so fun to get this deeper dive. So now we get to do that again, but following Showcase. So man, you are spoiling us in the audience.
That's right.
It's great to be here, and I'm definitely excited to show off what the team has been working on, and excited to take a deeper dive into story today.
Ooh, well, let's talk about that. So as Tina mentioned, after the Developer Direct, we had you on the podcast, and I just got to make a call back. Like, that was received so well. Like, it was just great watching the comments and everyone.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Want to play the game, and so kudos to you and the team. I'm curious from your perspective and the team's perspective.
I had my
what's been going on? Like, I'm sure as you get closer to release date, like a lot of things. My memory was erased. So tell us a bit about that time.
Yeah, it's a really exciting part of the development process, because you've got so much that's so far along. Your content, your gameplay, your systems, and you're really just investing those final touches, that final layer of polish, like pushing everything to be as good as it possibly can. Trying to make smart decisions, not crazy ones. But yeah, it was great to see the reception after Developer Direct.
Brother, it's so hard to find those 9 volts anymore.
Additional time on was refining that sense of hitting, which we're going to see some of in our footage today. So yeah, it's really just taking everything that's almost there and pushing it over the finish line and really getting to turn this into the game that we all on the team want to play as well.
Yeah, and I just want to build off of that a little bit because we were talking about you before you all came. We were talking behind your back, but in a good
Only
way.
good things.
But like, I feel like to your point, Obsidian has this je ne sais quoi, this, to use my little French that I know very little of.
It was that one statement, that was it.
Yeah, that's really all I know. But no, it's like this something special that you all have.
With the Pillars of Eternity games, this takes place in the same universe, but it is
so what we just saw at the Xbox Game Showcase with the new trailer.
Sure. Okay, so Avowed is an upcoming fantasy action RPG. For players who are familiar with the Pillars of Eternity games, this takes place in the same universe, but it is not a sequel. The style of gameplay is obviously very different. The cast of characters is mostly different, but we'll get to that. But yeah, it's basically just bringing our players to the world of Aora with a really immersive, action-forward, really fun, fresh take on
I haven't seen a lot about this
that
looks fantastic to me either. I don't know what it is.
So part of what we wanted to do with this trailer is really set up for the player the world you're stepping into and the role you're stepping into, and also the choice that's in front of you for how you want to inhabit and live out that role in the game. So the very first voice that we hear from at the beginning of the trailer is the Emperor of Adir, your boss essentially. He's sending you to the Living Lands to get to the bottom of this soul plague called the Dream Scourge, find out what's causing it, and find a way to stop it. The next person we hear from is Inquisitor Ludwine, who I'm very excited to have playing such a big part in Avowed. Players from Deadfire might remember her as a side character in one of our very interesting side quests, but in Avowed she's pretty central. And her whole belief is that the Dream Scourge is really just symptomatic of larger problems, a larger sense of chaos and disunity and destructiveness at the heart of the Living Lands. And in the world of Pillars of Eternity, souls and essence, which is the stuff of souls, it manifests physically. And so she might be onto something.
Yeah, thanks for it.
And then the very last person we hear from is Giada, who's one of the companions that we'll meet in our journey. And she's taking a different perspective. She's saying this chaos is part of who we are. It's part of what makes the Living Lands special. Don't try to tame it. Don't try to end it. Embrace it and cherish it and kind of nurture and tend to it. So again, what that really sets up for the player is this is a big world. It's got adventure and danger, and it's also got a lot of choices to make. And it's going to be up to you to decide, you know, what it means to be the envoy of Adir in the Living Lands and what it means to set things right in this place.
Yeah, so to your point, that kind of like Obsidian formula, 100%. That player choice and some of that moral intrigue too, like what decisions are you going to make in a moment by moment?
Yeah, and I think that's what players, as you said, like that's what players really want. Like they want to feel like they have some agency. They are going to be able to interpret the story that you all build and kind of act on that. And so, but let's get into the gameplay because just like a little bit after Developer Direct, you've brought some new gameplay for us to watch. And so let's check some of this out. Tell us a bit about what we're seeing here.
So we're going to start out in Emerald Stair, which is one of the regions you'll get to explore over the course of the game. We're not too far along, but we have here a lovely nighttime scene. I think this region in particular looks fantastic at night. Not
Very stunning.
Yeah, thank you. And here we have some Sporlings attacking Yatsley, who is going to be one of our other companions.
And you were charging up like your bow and arrow there, and then you're also kind of trying to slice your way through what looks like some very thick top-heavy swirling armor here.
And you're right, we are struggling a little bit.
Yeah, they're giving you a run for your money here.
Yeah. We'll fix that. So part of the problem is we've just transitioned out of an earlier region, and so we haven't upgraded our gear yet. So if we look like we're struggling against these little mushroom guys, it's because we haven't upgraded our weapons so that they're really up to par with the enemies we're going to face here. So there's a lot of hacking and whacking, but we'll fix that in short order.
Oh, fantastic. People, I was about to lose my wits. You wouldn't happen to have a ladder on hand, would you?
So this is still fairly early into the game, too, the setting of Emerald Stair.
Yeah.
Nice, and then we have Yatsley.
Yeah, she's a wizard. She's very fun. She's a little risque in a way that I think makes her a lot of fun to talk to. She's got some very good banters with the other companions. But yeah, she's just a little lightning ball of a lot of personality.
And you see the options here, by the way. Also, one of the great things about your game is, of course, dialogue options. Tell us a little bit about how that's playing here.
So you noticed with a couple of those that we had a little symbol at the front of those options. So as this is an Obsidian game, some of the options available to you are dictated by choices you make at character creation, choices you make as you level up your character. So some of them are tied to specific attributes. Some of them are tied to specific backgrounds that you choose at the beginning of the game. And a lot of those will really, in different cases, either add some different flavor,
can we talk about character creation, please?
A different outcome to that conversation. Here, we're really getting to know her as a character, and so, we're just kind of choosing the tonal direction of this conversation.
Yeah,
she's a little,
She says you're tall, striking, and well-toned.
It is like she's flirting with us.
She is.
What would happen if we pass the conversation check for the flirtation option, which I assume is this first one?
Yeah. Well, you'll have to see in a bit, but yeah, if you flirt with Yatsli, she will flirt back.
She seems like a flirtatious type.
If you keep encouraging her, she's going to climb you.
Careful, darling. I already have a lover. A good one. Skilled with his hands. He always carries a ladder.
She rebuked me.
Oh, no. Well, you know what? Maybe keep trying. But
Dialogue check.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, like, visually speaking, like, I think this is the first time you all are also showing, like, gameplay at night, right?
Yeah, so we do have a dynamic time of day, and our environments.
Why does it look so chunky?
Have some
Jesus Christ.
very lovely looks at different times of day. We've definitely shown a lot of daytime footage. We've shown
probably
some
because they're playing like
footage.
an Xbox Series S.
But again, Emerald Stair looks really stunning at night.
Yeah.
It's very colorful, very lush.
See the
We've got
panning
all
though?
The fungi, and then
God,
one thing we're going to see as we come over the hill
playing
here
this at like
is
20
all of
frames.
this equipment that the animancers of the town of Fior have made. And so animancy in the world of Pillars of Eternity is basically soul science. It's about studying and manipulating the essence that makes up souls and the essence that is ambient in the ether.
Quite controversial in the world.
Yes, it is, which is something we get into in this region. But yeah, so this is a little enclave of animancers who are kind of free to study, outside of the the watchful eye of any larger authority here in the Living Lands. But yeah, what it means aesthetically is they have this really lovely equipment with this wonderful purple glow that just looks great at this time of
year. Yeah, 100%.
And so they are also impacted by the dream scourge as well.
They are, yes.
Mm-hmm.
They've discovered something wrong in the ether, and you're coming here to sort of see what the animancers have figured out.
All right, and now I'm looking at this. It looks like we're heading into the party camp. Can you tell us a little bit about what this area is and its significance for the player?
Yeah, so party camp is one of my favorite spaces in the game. It's both your narrative hub and also your upgrade hub. We can see here, I'll just call
third person, yeah.
Yes, we do have third person. A lot of the footage we're going to see today is in first person, but we do have a third person option for players who prefer it. But yeah, in party camp, that's where you'll get to know your companions better. You can kind of get to know their backstories and sort of, get to know them better as individuals. You can also hear them getting to know one another through their banters at camp, which is always super fun to eavesdrop on. And it's also where we can upgrade our gear. So we've got our party stash where we can stow a lot of extra equipment.
I have not seen anything as much as they've shown about this game so far. I have not seen a single thing about character creation.
So that we're better equipped to fight the enemies here.
Yeah, sporlings.
Yeah,
exactly.
We're coming back.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be way better. But I want to touch back on what you said around the banter around with your companions. I've always found that, like, in those kind of camp areas and in games just in general, like, that's where I love.
Yeah.
And I love that you all are including banter between the other companions, because that makes it feel more alive. Like, you're just listening to the banter. But is there conflict between some of the companions?
They have different takes on the dream scourge and like what you should do with it.
Exactly. So what can we expect to hear when we're listening, eavesdropping in on the banter?
So you'll hear a lot of different things. One thing we really wanted to create with Party Camp was this sense that, you're adventuring and exploring together through this big wilderness, all of these different landscapes, and Party Camp is this quiet space where you can all kind of huddle together, share a moment of respite, and, the pace and the tone of everything is a lot slower and quieter. So some of the banter is going to be kind of quirky and fun as these characters get to know each other and kind of dig into their different personalities, their different eccentricities. Some of it's going to be a little more somber as they, kind of reflect on different events that y'all have seen, different things y'all have gone through together. And then, yes, as you get to harder decisions in the game, there are going to be moments of conflict where they disagree on what the right course forward is, or they disagree on maybe actions that you've taken up to this point, and they're kind of hashing it out with one another. So it's really just where these characters get to come to life a lot more.
So you're going to be judged the whole time.
Good. No, because I'm a controversial king. We're going to be picking some controversial decisions, so I love to see that.
I love that kind of banter too, because I know in my heart the decisions I want to make, but absolutely the more connected I get to certain companions or characters, they can totally influence by their judgment, their cool judgment. Yeah, so I'll sometimes, start to actually take that into account. I love the party camp moments, sitting by a campfire, and certainly getting stronger.
Yeah.
Which my understanding is we're picking up some, not just upgrading some of our weapons, but also picking up some new skills, which you can do in this party camp kind of downtime too.
Yeah, so you can upgrade your skills and abilities anywhere as you level up throughout the course of the game. That's one of the things we're doing right now. So on certain level up milestones, we'll get to upgrade our attributes, which we just did. And on every level up milestone, we'll get to pick a new ability. So in this playthrough, it seems like we've got a couple points sitting in reserve. So we're spending these on different abilities
like a fairly
in our
deep
different trees.
System there,
and
which is
one of the
good.
really fun things about the way these are set up is you can really mix and match freely between them. So if you want to be all wizard, you can, build entirely throughout that skill tree. If you want to mix and match, make a battle mage, or make, someone who can be a little
multi-class
moments and a little more aggressive in others, you have a lot of freedom to do that.
Sounds like me. I like that one. I'll take that one.
Yeah.
So we've seen a lot of Tanglefoot in previous trailers, and I think we just unlocked Fan of Flames, which will help us get through these brambles, right? So we're not only stronger, but now we can actually progress in the environment in Emerald Stair with a little bit more skills at our hands.
Yeah, we wanted to try to, as much as possible, give the different abilities that players can pick up. Obviously solutions in combat, but also solutions in exploration. And so, there's almost always more than one way through a particular barrier, but you'll have, weapons, your own abilities, spells, weapon enchantments, sometimes even your companions who can, use their environmental abilities to help you get through barriers like that as you build the character you want to play.
Okay, so now that we're coming out of the camp, we've upgraded our equipment, we've upgraded our swords, so theoretically these guys should be easier now.
Yes, and you'll notice it's taking fewer hits to bring him down. Yep,
get out of here.
Look at him,
chunky.
He barely stood a chance.
Christ.
Yes, we've got some nice blood effects as we're slicing through them.
Yeah, so is that like new animation as well? New sound effects and animation as you're kind of upgrading your swords and other items?
Yeah, we want to make sure that players are getting clear feedback as to when their gear is effective and when maybe they need to go back to camp. So it looks, it feels, it sounds different when you're playing with appropriately leveled gear.
And this guy's a little different looking.
Yeah.
What's his deal?
Little spikes.
So this is a caster. So, all of our enemy families will have different unit types among them. And we've seen a lot of these little melee spoilings who just run at us. And it's very cute, actually. It's one of our favorite little animations on the team. But you also have these caster units that can obviously attack you from a distance, do quite a bit more damage. And we have a few other unit types who we haven't met yet, but we're going to try to take this guy out because he's a little more dangerous than the small guys.
Yeah, taking a few more hits than them.
So when you build up enough stun on an enemy, you can kind of queue up an attack like that does a lot of extra damage and will also, if it doesn't take them out outright, it'll at least give you some distance from them. So those are great to get if you can.
Nice, and a little bit more traversal here, which I love to see. Adds that verticality that we love. That allows players to, I guess, discover new things in the game and maybe some hidden things.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a very fun mechanic to be able to build content around because, like you said, you can really reward your curious players by hiding a lot of secrets, a lot of fun, a lot of storytelling and nooks and crannies throughout the levels.
And we did just pick up that godless vase, so we've got our item that Yachtsley's been asking us for.
Yes.
So can you remind us too, as we're looks like we're approaching her now, actually. So what we're kind of exchanging here?
Yeah, so Yachtsley is a scholar of the godless, and the godless are the ancient people who used to inhabit the living lands. They have been gone for many, 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 many years, but we see their ruins throughout the different regions of the living lands. So Yachtsley studies them. They are called the godless because they are not recognized as worshipping in their art any of the gods of Aora that people know of. So she wanted this artifact as, part of her studies. So even without a ladder, we were able to fetch it for her.
Oh, and we just saw a quick flash of ourselves, actually. And we are, actually, if you could explain too, because we are a godlike.
Yes.
We are almost the opposite of Yachtsley in that way.
Yes.
So what does that mean in the world of like the universe in general and why we look the way that we look here?
Sure. So in the world of Pillars of Eternity, a godlike is
I mean, I hate to say this, but I'll tell you, we just watched a showcase for a game that, in all honesty, looks, in my opinion,
definitely a godlike.
vastly superior to this. this
will manifest in a number of different
and
ways.
I like
one
Obsidian
of them is you
much more.
Usually have a unique
but
physical appearance
Dragon's
that
Age,
manifests in some way on your face and
Velgard.
Now with Vowed, you can choose exactly what that manifestation looks like.
In
this
many
like and
ways,
like growth
just,
is one of your options.
and I'm not talking
but you
about
will
like
have
necessarily
some that are
the
a lot bigger and more dramatic, and you'll also have some that are a lot
RPG
subtler.
mechanics
But either way,
how
you have a connection
deep
to one
or
of the
shallow
gods.
those would be
the
or
thing that's
anything
unique
like
about
that. But
you
just
is you don't know which one.
visually, what I'm
and
seeing
most godlikes
in
of Eora,
this game compared to
it's
something
very
like
well
Dragon's
known,
Age,
which god they share a lineage with. For you, it is a mystery.
I'm not
and
seeing
that's
it here,
one of the
dude.
things you'll get to explore in your journey.
and combat-wise and everything
Yeah,
too.
and I love the customization because I think just generally speaking, people love to customize the character they want. So maybe again, like you go a little bit more obvious here, or maybe you go a little subtle. Are we going to see like players,
I'm not
or
real
not
thrilled
players, but
about
like
this.
other people in the world like reacting to sort of your godlike appearance?
You will, because it is very unique, and there aren't many godlikes left in the world of Eora. So you're doubly unique in this case.
I was godlike.
Oh, nice. I'm going to be showing it off.
In my pillage runs.
I'm a
It was
godlike.
awesome.
All right. So treat me as such.
Well, so some people think that's very cool. Some people think it's very spooky. So, different cultures and individuals have different ways of relating to godlikes. So you might get you'll get a number of reactions.
And that's the thing, is that godlikes are quite rare. So they are kind of intrigued by it when they see you and they recognize that you are different.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Now Yatsley is sending us somewhere else, right?
So we've gotten her vase. She's going to return to her studies. She will join our party at some point, but not right away.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a quest that takes place along the Crit Path and Emerald Stair. So you can tell we're still in the same overall region. So we're working with one of the animancers in the town of Fior, and he's going to help us He's going to try to help us diagnose what's going on with the living lands. But in order to do that, he needs the heart of an Audragon, and an Audragon is essentially a nymph with sort of the skin and appearance of Audra, and he needs the heart for the essence that it contains. So he's sent us into this glade to go retrieve this heart. This glade is inhabited by a bunch of Delamgon, who, as you can see, are a lot more dangerous and a lot more aggressive than the Spoilings we encountered. Delamgon in the World of Pillars are fairly territorial, so we're kind of bringing this on ourselves. He did warn us that they wouldn't take kindly to us just marching through their territory, and we might have an easier time of it if we can avoid conflict, but conflict's also fun, so in this case we're just, swinging our sword and going on in.
And you're right about them being a little bit harder to take down. We are definitely having to utilize everything in our arsenal here to take them down.
Yes, and you're seeing a few different unit types here. We've also got casters. These have some very long kind of whippy arms that they can get us at a medium distance with, and a little area of effect attack. But they do eventually go down. But like you said, it takes more work.
Yeah. Now we're approaching what I'm assuming is a very special character. Can you tell us a little bit about?
Yeah, so this is the Delamgon Queen. She has the Audragon heart, and I'm sure she'll be super cool with how we just mowed through her followers. What could go wrong?
We had to do what we had to do, right?
Yeah,
but
hopefully she's queen of no one now.
That's right. We'll take everyone out, right? Oh, let's see what she says.
But wait, no.
Yep, she can sense what we've done, and she's not happy about it.
So many of my kin are dead by your hand. The time for words has passed.
It's a good thing we like fighting, because we're going to fight some more now.
Yeah.
Yep. Hello.
The backup forces have arrived, and now we're in trouble. But we're going to leave that a little mystery, right? I'm assuming.
Yes.
I don't want to give everything away. So what are we looking at here? This is us kind of respecing kind of how our character plays, right?
Yes. So if you find that you want to try out a new suite of abilities, if you want to approach a particular piece of content like this one in a different way, you can respec. And you might have seen popping up at the beginning of the screen here, there is a cost to doing so, but if you're willing to pay it, you can try out a whole new set of abilities. So what we're doing now is we're speccing into a lot of ranger related abilities, and I think a couple wizard ones as well. So the most important one of these is Shadowing Beyond, which is a level 5 ranger ability. And what that does is it gives us the ability to essentially kind of open up a rift in the here, which is the physical world, and travel through the beyond, which is kind of the invisible spiritual world, in order to move through the environment. So what this means is that as long as we don't engage them, these characters can't see us. And as long as we keep our essence meter up, this ability will remain active. So this one is constantly draining our essence, which is the soul energy that we use to power our special abilities and our spells. You can see we're passing some cover grass as well, so if we wanted to be a little more conservative with our power usage, we could duck into that grass, kind of watch the patrols, and avoid using this ability quite as much. But in this case, we're going to use it to get to this little safe nook right here.
So if you're an expert stealther, you could possibly do this section in
They're not showing us any overlay stuff, I don't think.
If you're
good, just
sneak
it around.
Challenge accepted, right?
Yeah.
Here we're re-upping on our potions,
like
so that we can build
smashing potions, and we have no idea why, you know.
So yeah, we're going to continue, and we've also found a little side route here. So again,
I think they have all
we like to offer different ways for players to approach our content, especially big potential
I think this
fights
close to
like
I mean, what
kind
we're
of in the glade here. So this is a little side path that you can see.
5
Still
months
has some
away,
enemies in it,
it'd be nice
but
to
for
see
a
a
player
little bit of
who's
some
very
overlay
careful
stuff.
and either
pretty
willing to use that
close.
cover grass or willing and able to use Shadowing Beyond, they can get through without causing.
Well, maybe they feel like it just give away too much.
Will the others be alerted to it, or could you get away with like 1 kill and then?
It depends how close they are. So they do have a shout radius, but it is not infinite. So if there isn't anyone close by, and if you're pretty fast, you might be able to get away. But you can see there's one right there. So
you never know who's hiding in a little nook. Exactly.
Right? I'll kick that one off the cliff. It's like, get out of here. But I'm excited to see players how they tackle it, because I'm sure there are going to be people who decide not to use the essence at all and like really like want to show their mastery of that stealth aspect. And so here we are heading.
It's always a trade-off, right?
It is.
You know, do you want to loot all the dead bodies,
right?
or do you want to take the peaceful path?
Yes, loot all the
possibly
dead
open up some other
bodies,
dialogue
obviously.
options, which tends to be
It's
how
not-
I play.
Who questions that? Come on, man.
Welcome, visitor. It has been so long since one of your kind has walked in this grove.
You know, in this case, the Dalamgon Queen has recognized that we haven't killed all of her followers. And so there's a little more of an opportunity to talk with her. She recognizes that we are godlike. She might even recognize what kind of godlike we are. But yeah, in this case, she will give us the heart willingly, and she'll allow us to leave the glade peacefully, because we chose.
And she's quite an ancient being, so there's a lot that she knows. You mentioned that, she might even know where we come from.
She might, yeah. Of course, the thing is, Dalamgon they're like you said, they're very ancient. They're not really part of Kith society, so it's hard to get too many straight answers out of them sometimes.
Yeah, there was some vagaries in there, but enough to kind of pique our interest.
But then she gave you the heart and she said, take it and go in peace.
Yeah,
exactly.
And there you go.
We came in peace and we left in peace.
Boom.
Look at that.
Peace rules. Sometimes.
Well, I think that's all the gameplay that you and the team brought out here today. Thank you again so much. It's been so insightful and such a fun opportunity to walk through it all step by step with you.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about it a little bit after the developer direct, but like the trailers that you all make are always so great. But then getting to like talk to you and see what the team has built and deliver especially for the Xbox podcast is always great to see, and dive deeper into those details, dialogue options, how you tackle a game. Like all those things are so important for us to see, like how we're going to be playing the game when it releases.
So much detail and intricacies. But is there anything else that you want to leave the audience off with before we sign off on this episode?
Well, really excited for players to experience this game for themselves. Again, the team's been working really hard to just really put the rest of the experience together, get it all polished, get it across the finish line, and we're all really stoked to see how players fill that player-shaped hole at the middle of our game, and what kind of role they choose for their envoy, and how they choose to solve the conundrums in the Living Lands.
Us too.
I know. Cannot wait. Carrie, thank you so much for stopping by. Please give the team our best.
All right, man. I'll link this if anybody needs to watch it again or anything like that. Again, I think my sentiments haven't changed very much even after watching this. It's I'm still just kind of worried about how rich of a Pillars-esque experience you're really going to be getting out of this. For the fans of the Pillars of Eternity games and that lore and those experiences in the first place. I know it's not the same game, and she noted that, and I get it. I think the problem is we've all been waiting for more Pillars for so long, that we want more of that. And for all of us that have been fans of those games and have been waiting. So, I don't know. It's Obsidian, dude. It's going to be good. I have no doubt about that. Obsidian does great stuff. They really do. They know what they're doing. They've been doing great stuff for a long time, man. No doubt about it. And I don't really have any reservations about Obsidian bringing us a quality product here in Avowed. The skill system seems like it's going to be deep. I'll be honest, like what I was seeing in the trailer looked chunky, dude. It did not look smooth. It did not look, and you know, it's still, the game's got 5 months. They're probably finishing, polishing, and I have no idea what they were playing it on or anything like that. But dude, I saw a lot of chunk in there. There was lag. The frame rate was terrible. I don't know what was going on, but it didn't look all that great to me. The thing I worry, obviously, I love the dialogue choices. I love the choices matter. I like the fact that you're going to have, you know, just like a Pillars-esque experience, you're going to really have those kinds of dialogue choices that you can potentially significantly influence the direction of the narrative and stuff, depending on where you've decided to put your stat points at. And you know, are you able to successfully get through a dialogue check, you know, with the amount of stat points you have, you know, or will it negatively, if you lose it, will it negatively affect what's happening next? I love that kind of stuff, you know, and that's going to be here. That's great. The thing I do worry about is obviously the open world experience, and they're like, well, what we've heard before is, you know, we're not going to let you miss things like companions or whatever, and you know, they're going to hold your hand through a lot of that experience, and that's a very non-Pillars kind of thing, you know. So in my opinion anyways, we'll see what happens. We'll see. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more as we continue to move forward closer to the release in November of Avowed, and I have no doubt it'll be entertaining. It's Obsidian. They have a extensive track record of doing great games, and it'll be a fun experience. I do think. I just don't think it'll be to the deepness of what we're used to of a Pillars game and what many Pillars fans want. I think that's the only real hesitation on my part, to be honest with you. That's the news, my dudes. My dudes and dudesettes. We're going to get ready to play Ghost of Tsushima Day 11. Act 2 is underway, man. After dying many times last time we played at the end of Act 1. We're in Act 2. It's going to be a good day. We're going to have a lot of fun. I hope everybody had a great day yesterday whenever I was off. And yeah, I appreciate the awesome news segment and the contributions from everybody on these topics, and we'll go play some games and have some fun. All right, so if anybody's hanging out, you're not familiar with what we do, this is the jam, man. We always start off at roughly 6 a.m. CST CDT, beginning with video gaming news before we head off into playing games for the rest of the day. Awesome community here, always you know, just trying to be welcoming and inviting, and just enjoying the world of video games, you know, having a good time, trying to be void of negativity, toxicity, that kind of stuff, and just having a lot of laughs, spreading good vibes, man. So if you can dig it, come be a part of what we do. We're always looking for more awesome people to be a part of this amazing community. Other than that, stay healthy, stay safe, be kind. I'm going to run us an outro. I'm not done. Stream's not over. We've got hours and hours and hours left of playing games today, but I am going to run an outro to sum up this news segment, and as soon as it's over, we will start playing games. I'll see you guys in a second.